Let's take a break from Pink Floyd for a moment. It's been a little while since my last playlist video about Cream, so let's decide who to talk about next. Let's see, I've done the Beatles, the Stones, the Who, Jimi Hendrix, the Doors, lots of 60s bands. Yeah, should I talk about the Kinks next, or maybe I should get...
How come you only talked about male artists? Why no female rockers?
Well, I just haven't gotten to them yet.
You have to expand your mind past the conventional corporate male-dominated machine that's trying to take away our right to choose. Seriously. Why is this still a thing in 2022?
All right, so which artist of the female persuasion do you think we should talk about?
Who else? Janis Joplin.
Well, I guess that explains why I have her albums out.
Yeah, like it wasn't planned. Just a little bit harder. The godmother of classic rock. Of course she owes so much to Big Mama Thornton, Bessie Smith, the legendary ladies of blues that came before her. But when she appeared on the San Francisco scene in the Summer of Love with Big Brother and the Holding Company, she proved that women could belt just as well as the men could, maybe even harder.
Do you have any explanation why you're so popular?
She would unfortunately become another casualty of the 27 Club, but not without leaving a legacy of unforgettable songs. I'm sure you agree with me on that.
Well, to be completely honest...
Oh, God, what now?
I love Janis's voice, but I never quite got into her as an artist. I always considered Big Brother kind of an average psychedelic band that just happened to have a badass singer. Even when Janis went solo, it took her a while to find the right musical direction, and by the time she was just getting a handle on it, she was gone. Still, we did discover some new tracks we really dig, and there's definitely enough to fill a rockin' playlist.
I mean, this isn't the kind of music I'd immediately seek out, but you can't deny Janis Joplin's historic significance. At that time, there just weren't that many archetypes for female rockers, much less anyone who could channel that kind of growl she had. There wouldn't be a Stevie Nicks or Melissa Etheridge if Janis hadn't busted down that door with a bottle of whiskey in her hand. So yeah, we can fit enough Janis Joplin classics into a playlist, formatted like a vinyl record.
That's right, no longer than 26 minutes aside, with 6 bonus tracks at the end. Mm-hmm. We will, of course, be including songs she did with Big Brother and the Holding Company, her 2 studio albums, and even some live tracks.
Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Janis playlist?
Nice transition.
Thank you. Let's start off with one of her early recordings with Big Brother and the Holding Company, Down on Me.
If we're going to include that, I went into Jeff Goldblum there for a minute. Let's include the live version from In Concert.
What's with you and all these 90s references?
They make me happy.
Down on me.
This version was recorded live in Detroit, 1968, posthumously released as a live single, and interesting enough was chosen to represent the song on her greatest hits package, which is how I first discovered the song.
I wonder why they didn't just use the studio version from their debut album. Can you play that?
Down on me.
This is too vanilla. Can I hear the live version again? That's the version to include.
Maybe it is from going through Syd Barrett's material that I've come to appreciate the raw approach guitarist Sam Andrew and James Gurley added to the psychedelic sound. It just complements Janis's growling voice so well. The song itself is an adaptation of a traditional folk song, and it's clear Janis definitely relates to the message of people getting down on her, drawing from her past bullying in high school, among other things.
They laughed me out of class, out of town, and out of the state.
I don't know, I kind of have a different interpretation on the song. When I hear her singing Down on Me, I kind of think that maybe she's actually talking about someone going down on
her. Let's not let this video get demonetized.
Fine. YouTube is run by a bunch of prudes.
Well, you're right.
Since we're talking about live versions, let's talk about the live performance. Ball and Chain, these titles are really not making it easy to avoid dirty jokes.
I'm exercising a lot of self-control right now.
Me too. From Janis's legendary performance at the Monterey Pop Festival in 1967, which is really what made her a star. The song was originally written by Big Mama Thornton, and if you've never heard the original, you should really check it out. In fact, Big Mama's career saw a resurgence after Janis made it famous.
This is a song I wrote, made famous by me and Janis Joplin. Just like that old ball and chain. Whoa!
But Janis makes this blues gem totally her own.
And it felt like a ball and chain.
Honestly, the most hilarious moment of this film is watching Mama Cass Elliott's reaction.
She's also really high.
They all were. It's hard to fathom how she could even still have a voice after singing like this night after night. But it's not just screaming. She's clearly totally in control of her vocal cords. It's almost like listening to a bird. Sometimes as a singer, when people sing incorrectly, it physically pains me to listen to them. But somehow, Janis' screaming never does that.
Shortly after Monterey, the band released their debut album, but it was 1968's Cheap Thrills that would be regarded as one of the finest psychedelic records of the 60s.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
It should be noted that Janis isn't the only singer on this album. It actually kicks off with a song written and sung by Sam Andrew. It's the second track, a collaboration between Sam and Janis, where she really makes her presence known. I Need a Man to Love. Despite the crowd noise, this is a studio recording. It still has that live feel. The guitar interplay between Sam and James kind of gives me that Born Under a Bad Sign kind of vibe. I also like the call and response vocals. Janis didn't write a ton of songs in her career, and most of her lyrics revolve around relationships, loneliness, nothing too cerebral. But the spirit of the counterculture movement is felt here. There's got to be some kind of answer, and everywhere I look, there's none around. Definitely a universal message.
You want to talk about an anthem? You can't get much more iconic than Piece of My Heart. Even if you know nothing about Janis Joplin, you know this song. We even covered it in that Acoustic History of Rock show we did.
I want you to come on, come on, come on, come on, and take it. Take another little bit some more now, baby.
Right out of the gate, the guitars are screaming. Dave Getz is pounding the drums, and Janis' voice is already at 11.
These go to 11.
And yet, she's able to bring the dynamics down at the drop of a hat. It's pretty epic. Originally written by Jerry Ragovoy and Bert Berns, the song was originally recorded by Irma Franklin, sister of Aretha Franklin. Again, check out the original. It's a great R&B performance. Big Brother's arrangement stays mostly true to the original, the biggest difference being Sam Andrews' heavy guitar parts at the beginning and solo sections, and of course the way Janis attacks the melody. It's definitely in the spirit of classic blues. I mean, the lyrics are about heartbreak, but the melody just kind of makes you feel good. And frankly, it's empowering. Like she's telling her man, "Oh, you want to take more from me? Go ahead and do it, you bastard! Go ahead! Take another little piece of my heart, huh? Huh?"
Okay, peace and love, right? Peace and love. Why don't we just move on to the next song? How about her rendition of the classic George Gershwin tune, Summertime?
If it makes you feel good.
Summertime also appeared on Cheap Thrills, but it became a live staple for Janis even in her solo years. I listened through a few versions of this, and I thought it best to include the version she did at Woodstock.
Yeah, I like this version. She gets to show off a little bit more, juxtaposing that vocal fry sound with some guttural chest action.
This was done with the Kozmic Blues Band. Sam Andrew is still on guitar, the horns add a bit of R&B flavor, and Richard Kermode plays a short organ solo. I've also always wondered if she was alluding to her bisexuality in the line, "She's looking pretty good to me right now."
That'd be awesome if she was.
We're going to dive a little bit more into her solo career as we dive into side 2 of this playlist. By the end of 1968, Janis left Big Brother, Sam Andrew leaving with her, to form the Kozmic Blues Band. She had a horn section featuring baritone sax player Snooky Flowers, giving her that Stax vibe. This led to the eventual release of 1969's I Got Dem Old Kozmic Blues Again, Mama, the only solo album Janis released in her lifetime, which was a bit divisive at that time regarding the new direction.
Yeah, it's a little inconsistent. There's a lot of ballads on this one. Though it did start off pretty funky with Try Just a Little Bit Harder. Also written by Jerry Ragovoy, this time with Wild Thing writer Chip Taylor. From the first drum hit, you can hear the difference in production and how tight the band is compared to Big Brother. The horns really pop on this one. Naturally, Janis's vocal approach is also different, but no less powerful. It's an interesting blend to hear this heavy rock singing with such a slick R&B groove. Compared to what we've been listening to so far, the music feels more upbeat. And although it's a love song, maybe she's trying to tell us that she's gonna be trying a little bit harder with her new band and musical direction.
It is definitely the party song, but if you're looking for melancholy, you'll definitely still find it on this album. I think the one that really stood out for both of us was the original title song, Kozmic Blues, which Janis wrote with producer Gabriel Meckler. And I think it's because it sounds the most like her. She's not trying to be Otis Redding or someone else, it's just pure raw emotion. The opening piano is very haunting, and the lyrics feel very prophetic. Despite her star power, this was a really troubling time for Janis. She was drinking heavily and using heroin big time. And I think Kozmic Blues, both lyrically and musically, is her way of saying, I'm just getting through this life the best I can. It's something we all deal with.
Playing is just about feeling. Playing isn't necessarily about misery. Playing isn't necessarily about happiness. But it's just about letting yourself feel all those things that you have already on the inside of you.
Well, the silver lining is that she did attempt to get clean as 1970 rolled around, and she formed a new band herself called the Full Tilt Boogie Band. They joined a successful Canadian tour with the Grateful Dead called Festival Express, honing some new material, and eventually went into the studio with the Doors producer, Paul Rothchild.
And sessions began for what would be Janis's final album, Pearl, released posthumously.
And it starts off pretty rockin' with a song written by Janis herself called Move Over. In fact, I need more space in this frame, so you move over. Give me some space.
What? You're
taking
fine.
up too much room.
No, you move over.
Oh my god, you move over.
This is my show.
I don't care. I'm in
No.
the show now. This song feels like it can stand the long piece of my heart, though it's a bit livelier. The interplay between her and guitarist John Till is a real highlight, and he plays a cool solo in the middle. It's another empowering song lyrically, but musically it just feels like Janis is really taking charge of her musical direction.
And immediately following that is Cry Baby. And as far as I'm concerned, this may very well be the best opening to any of her songs. Yeah, that's how it's done! Ugh. She is just on fire with Cry Baby. Once again, Ragovoy and Berns are the writers, and it was first recorded by Garnet Mims. This arrangement really is Janis's invention, though. You can just tell she's in a better place in her life. Supposedly she was engaged at this point. Oh, the song still evokes feelings of longing, but there's a confidence felt here. In fact, near the end, she's more talking than singing, almost in a very improvisational style, something she'd really start exploring in her live shows.
You looking for your life over there, honey? You know where your life is? Your life's waiting like a goddamn fool right here for you, man.
Also, huge credit to Richard Bell on piano playing all those Leon Russell-style licks at the end. They really amp up the intensity with Janis's impressive vocal chops.
Pearl was loaded with hits, and I was surprised to find this out, but her only #1 hit on the Billboard charts was Me and Bobby McGee. It even featured her playing guitar.
That's right, it did.
Me and Bobby McGee is a song I've gotten requested to sing more times than I can count. It was written by Chris Christopherson. He and Janis had a close friendship, with benefits. Singer Bob Newirth taught her the song, and she elected to record it. Unlike the more soul-driven tracks, this one feels more like a Patsy Cline kind of vibe, which I personally love.
Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing, so nothing, honey, if it ain't free.
The song really builds from just Janis playing acoustic guitar before the band comes in. By the end, the drums take it to church, Janis really starts wailing, pianist Richard Bell, organist Ken Pearson, and guitarist John Till all take short solos. I also love just how abrupt the ending is, as if Janis was thinking, oh yeah, I'm supposed to end the song, here. It's just great.
In the tradition of country music, it's a story-driven song, a love song about two musicians making their way from the South to California, where they part ways. Chris Christopherson didn't know she had recorded his song until after she died, and when Paul Rothchild played him the tape, He had to leave the room, it was so emotional.
I could just see her saying, wait till that son of a bitch hears this.
And that's how so many people felt when it was released as a single in early 1971. It really shows what could have been had Janis Joplin not been taken from us.
Actually, the following song on the album, another original, turned out to be the last track she ever recorded in the studio. Mercedes Benz. I don't know if this was just meant to be a demo to be recorded with the band later, but it works just as well a cappella. It's pretty hilarious that she calls the song one of great social and political import, and then just starts praying for a Mercedes Benz, a color TV, and this sort of barroom style, a clear commentary on materialism.
But there are clues to Janis's personal struggles. Worked hard all my lifetime, no help from my friends.
One more on this album to close this playlist.
Jeez, what songs from this album are we not including?
It's a song called Get It While You Can, because you're gonna need it.
Whereas Mercedes Benz is meant to be satire, Get It While You Can feels more sincere. Very much a product of 60s idealism. Once again, co-written by Jerry Ragovoy.
Man, she really liked singing this guy's songs, didn't she?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Originally recorded by Howard Tate, Janis's version seems to reflect the urgency the world was feeling at the time. Vietnam, Kent State, the singular philosophy that love is the answer, and get it while you still can. A great message for Janis to go out on, and a great ending for this playlist. So now we can highlight 6 bonus tracks.
Yeah, we might as well include something from the first Big Brother album. How about Bye Bye Baby? This is the album's lead-off song, written by Powell St. John, another Texas native. It's a fun little ditty. It's got that country flair, catchy tune. Definitely a highlight from a modest debut album.
I've got one from Cheap Thrills, an original blues Janis wrote called Turtle Blues.
I had a pet turtle once. Then he died. I had the blues for a while.
That's producer John Simon playing piano. Janis just feels very at home with the sparse acoustic blues arrangement. Honestly, I debated putting this in the main lineup, especially since it's an original song, but it still got its place here.
As mentioned before, Janis did a lot of these gospel-style ballads. Sometimes it's hard to keep track of them all. One of these was the Otis Redding-style ballad off of Kozmic Blues called Maybe, originally done by the Chantels. Those horns definitely give it a Stax kind of vibe. I could listen to that instrumental opening any day. But once Janis comes in, it's another powerful performance. Actually, now that we're listening to it again, I'm wondering if we should have included it in the main playlist.
Well, we can't include everything. We debated also including Little Girl Blue, or her cover of the Bee Gees' To Love Somebody. Yes, the Bee Gees had hits in the 60s. But I'm going with the blues track One Good Man, another original tune from Janis herself. What seals the deal for me is Mike Bloomfield sitting in on guitar. And Jesus Christ does he play some kick-ass licks on this gem. Juxtapose that with Janis's amazing voice, you've got a match made in blues heaven.
A couple more from Pearl. I know we've already covered about half of this album, but the funky Half Moon is another standout, written by John and Joanna Hall specifically for Janis. It's kind of got that late 60s Motown feel, like Can't Get Next to You. Very psychedelic lyrics, Half Moon, 7 stars. And apparently this was indeed a scratch vocal. Janis meant to do it over, but you would never have known that listening to it. You know, if we didn't just tell you right now.
Yeah, sorry if we ruined the song for you.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not that sorry.
Yeah, me neither.
For the last cut, I want to include My Baby, written by our good friend Ragovoy.
Yeah, we debated whether to include this or her collaboration with Bobby Womack, trust me.
But the gospel flavor with those backup vocals is just too good. It's such an uplifting song.
And when they tell her love is pain, I said it might be true for you, honey. But not for Janis no more, no, 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 no.
Remember, you can find a playlist in the description below. And as always, what are your favorite Janis Joplin songs? Comment below, let me know. And well, I guess it's time to get back to talking about Pink Floyd. What about you? Are you a Pink Floyd fan?
Which one's pink?
I see what you did there.